me, oh Lord? And the answer is that he's a bad person. Oh Lord, forgive me, Lord. God is actually a lot of bad people. God is a connotation, synonym for government. I'm Gary York. This is real psychology, sophisticated psychology. I have divided the game psychology and real psychology so that you've got something that actually works. And if I wasn't the second coming, I wouldn't know to do these videos. I wouldn't know any more than you do. I seem to be the only person on earth. I know somebody told me, oh Gary, no one's going to listen to your videos because you're calling them stupid fools. Well, it should be a comfort to all of you that you're all stupid fools, no matter which direction you look. You can't take it looking in the mirror. Look each direction. You're going to see a stupid fool no matter where you're at. Fool being, you're being fooled. Stupid, you're without your thinking mind. You're playing a game. And all of you need to realize that. Hypnosis bad. It is called hypnosis is the technical term. Stupid is stupid fool is a more common term, and all of you are. And the way to explain it is with parallels. Every once in a while, somebody is born that grows more like 2.5 feet tall. Very unusual event, but it does occur. Now, I was born real psychology, dominant mind frame. When I was a small child, I was looking up and going, this is, I need more information is what I was doing. Well, I'm 58 years old now, and I have enough information. I've been practicing a much more lively way of teaching, and this is for K through college. Who knows how to spell crib, but you take out the C and then you're not going to have a question. Put in the think symbol in place of the C. You're better off having a think symbol, a new symbol to demonstrate real psychology, a capital T with a period under it. And you're going to be a lot better off. Your language is a mess. You've been told that old stuff is good. Here's your music. Oh, it's 4,000 years old, so it's got to be good. Well, you got 6 notes. I'm not even going to try and bring the guitar out here. I'll probably scrape it or something. But you got, essentially they divided it up to 12 notes for an octave. And I'm told that an octave is when your vibration is the same amount per minute. You go to a higher octave. After 12, the 13th one is a higher octave, lower octave. This stuff you got 26 letters in the alphabet. I want you to go down to 25. This music, take out your sharps and flats, and your staff has 5 lines on it. You need 6 because you got 12 notes on it. And then if you're going to a higher octave, point 45 up. You got a lower octave, point 45 down. And then you don't have a bunch of crap. But no sharps and flats, get rid of them. I recently told a 90-year-old Christian that God is bad and that the devil is good. Oh, he was upset, yelling, whatnot. And of course, he's also a very good piano player. And I told him we're taking the sharps and flats out of this. And he started breathing shortness of breath, whatever. So I told him, okay, we'll just take out the flats for now, leaving the sharps, whatever. You've got to quit respecting old crap. Oh, somebody got an old chunk of garbage out of a cave somewhere, and oh, so you have to respect that? Get real, people. You are literally this stupid times 8 billion. You can understand if a family member lumbers up onto the dining room table and takes a dump on the family meal, you're not going to get good things for it. Nobody is. But they give you some lullabies, connotation, and oh gee, isn't it nice, the blood of Jesus? Well, no, it's not nice, fools. All evidence is that I am the second coming. Now let me show you something. I've been putting out this little New Testament here, and there's a reason. Several of the videos I held up this. Now the reason why is because where's the Old Testament? They got so blatant about lying to you of the New Testament. Oh, is it Jesus Christ bleeding and dying on the cross? Well, what about Lucifer, the devil, Satan? Well, I'm going to eliminate some things because angels are not real. Okay, gods are not real in the capacity of what you've got going here. God is a synonym for government. God is the lie. Government is getting a little closer to the truth. If they're hurting you, if they're not hurting you, they're not government. Government is governing. It means to hurt you. They're not hurting you, they're not government. So you have many synonyms, and they're used to lie. And you've heard that prophecy, lie, educated guess, true. Now you got 2 words there. People have argued me. Yes, there's one right now arguing. Synonyms have more than 1 words. There will be quite a few words at times, and it's still a synonym. It's the lie, and then the one that's a little closer to the truth. I have the camera programmed so that you can't hear God or the people here. You can only hear me. It only picks up my voice, so I'll just call back anything we got here. But you've got something very simple. Serpent, God, apple. Now, when you have 2 people rob a bank, they're partners. They each go to their own home. They each have half the cash. Then the government collects them up and puts them to the trial. And the one person says, well, no, it was all his partner's fault. And that's what you've got here. Oh, the serpent must be the devil. No. The serpent is God. They're both working on the same side. If he didn't have a serpent taunting Eve to eat the apple, and he went after Eve first, from what I've read in the Bible. I read the Bible 2 times when I was a teenager. Recently I was on vacation. I've been out seeing the relatives, bringing a family member around to see the relatives. They're all 90 and before they die, and people should be together. And that's what this is. You got a lot of problems, each one living alone, and your government loves it. In real psychology, you're not going to have that. You're going to have peace. You can't even stand your own self. You're used to it. What you did yesterday, you will do today, and you will like it. And I'm going to do this mime for sarcasm, and I won't use it every time I'm being sarcastic. But you've got quite a mess here. 2 people rob a bank. You probably would go for that. Oh, gee, it's his partner's fault. Okay, this man is innocent. And no, God is not innocent. It took 2 people to play this game. Now, you can decide eating an apple. Okay. You throw the dice, you land on Boardwalk, you owe $2,000. Do you go to the bank and draw out $2,000 and hand it to somebody? Now this is a tough one to understand unless you're trying, so you're not going to be good at it at first. Figure it out. Play these videos over and over and you're going to have it right. But eating the apple. Okay, let me give you a comparison. I'll go to an if scenario, which is a false scenario. Okay, the apple is poisonous. You're going to die. Oh, there's one arguing already. Oh, gee, Gary, God's going to burn you in hell for eternity if you eat the apple, so therefore it is poisonous. No, it's not. At the point where you're going to burn in hell for eternity, it is a game. Because you're not really going to die from eating an apple. You're not going to be poisoned by eating an apple. And this is very, very important to learn real psychology. Every time I can't believe that you people are this stupid, I drive around and look at the churches. No matter where I went around the country, we headed east in Arkansas, Ohio, all the way up to Vermont. And yes, people are this stupid all the way around. Gee, I need some water here. Excuse me. Now, Jesus' friends and neighbors gave him salt because they were a bunch of pussies. Your government had burned up Lucifer in his lake of fire. I was going to put out some carpentry tools here. The room's full of junk as it is. Here, I'll make you fishers of men. How's that? But they burned up Lucifer. The government did that. I'm reading that Bible by this, and I'm reading all of you, because things keep changing. 2021-year-old Bible, there are a couple of things you can decide. That a significant event occurred, but what was it? And I know only because I am real psychology dominant. I have a thinking mind. You cannot weigh between the two. You cannot figure it out. Amazing as it is, you cannot do that. Times 8 billion of you, you can't do it. You can't weigh between the two and figure it out. And that is really wild stuff. Times 8 billion, it is the only true miracle. Oh, the birth of a son of God, a virgin born a son of God on a bale of hay. You are that stupid. Oh, you're an atheist? Well, you still practice law, don't you? And a Christian denies the existence of God in the capacity of being bad. He doesn't exist any longer in the capacity of being bad. And you've got much evidence that God is bad. So a Christian is an atheist too. You're both wrong. God is real in the form of a psychological problem. You've got a big problem going on here. And the reason for that is, what do we got? Bad devil, good God. That's connotation. But you need to think about that, and you cannot figure things out. Look at the person next to you. Turn on this video for the person next to you and see if their mouth jacks open and argue. See what happens. You can't do it. All you can do is argue. The first thing I did before I started the videos was to build this. It's called the shut up. When the victim, potential victim, is being victimized. Here, let me hold this. The potential culprit has to be wearing it. I mentioned in my first video, I would show you how it works. You pull the string. Oh, it still didn't pop up. Well, there it goes. And it won't shut back down. It's got another actuation too. I haven't actuated it in a while. The humidity in here has got that thing stiffened up. There's a cooler. Air conditioning's the way to go, but there's cooler in here. So that's why that didn't pop up. But it's the thought. You can't do that. It's you've got zero tolerance assault law that your government put out, and men could do nothing. The government put on the fat and ugly is beautiful campaign, and all these games are bafflement to you, and that is hypnosis. And you need to understand, you do not get a good thing from a bad thing. At that point, you've abandoned reality and you're playing a Monopoly game. A serpent taunting Eve to eat an apple. That is a game. It is not real. When I was a small child, someone said, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Well, based on what? And that's real psychology. I was in continuous conflict with the adults that were destroying everything they could have had. And you are that stupid times 8 billion, and you should find comfort in that. I'm the only man that is a real psychology, a rational thinker. And sorry, ladies, it's clear with the history book that is your Bible. Of course, the government just blatantly threw it away. Put the instead of. Where do we got? Try not to. Instead of, yes. You can see how bad my hands shake. I went ahead and did this one for you. There's a reason for that, and I hope you learn that soon. But your government put out some crap to baffle you. What you really had was a rational thinker. I'm going to decide, since your Bible is so bafflesome and random, in fact, I was going to make a black Jesus also. Here's your coming in the clouds. My backdrop was white, so I just made the clouds blue. People are not watching these videos anyway. Here's some nails. There's the nails for the cross there. I'm not going to ruin a coat rack for that. There's your nails. And here it is. One thing I was going to say, to give you something to think about in your Bible, that the old King James Version, people in the 90s were telling me, well, God made black people black because they were bad. And my black neighbor even told me, he was a Christian, he volunteered to mention that. And I had heard that before, so he was memory matching with me on that. And now the younger people are saying, no, God didn't turn people black because they were bad. He didn't turn them black for punishment. That's not in the Bible. Well, apparently they took it out of some of the newer Bibles. And it gives you an idea. Then you multiply that by 2021 years. Now the reason you can't comprehend 2021 years, you're going to be looking for a return of Jesus for another 2021 years, and you're still not going to get one. And the reason I'm doing this for you today, here's the clouds, here's the Jesus. Hopefully the camera's picking up both sides. As I looked into the monitor, yes it is. But you're stuck in last day's doom. The Jesus is sinking below the horizon. You've got to have grief and agony to bring the Jesus above the horizon. He's sinking lower and lower as you smile and feel good. You've got to ruin your life, and it's all done on a subconscious mind level that you can't get to. The brain has two functions: your state of computer. Your computer doesn't know what it's doing. You tell your computer you should be ashamed of yourself. Is it ashamed? No, and neither are you. Does your computer know what it's doing? No. And neither do you. I'm not even sure that's a parallel. The computer is the same thing that you are. You're a $12 computer in the image of God. And I'll do that for that. Because God's not actually real in that capacity, we'll go ahead and assume He is. You're a $12 computer in the image of God, and then you have to eat and poop, you're worth less than zero. And you're better off to think that way because it's true. Identifying a problem is a wonderful thing. You've got 4 steps to fix your problems. Game psychology says you've got to say something nice. And I was going to leave out the stupid and fool, the S word and the F word. And somebody told me no one's is watching the videos because you're telling them they're stupid fools. Well, no. People aren't watching the videos anyway, and they're people that I know. They're afraid if they watch this video that their lifelong investment is going to vanish and that they will no longer be a part of society. I hope that camera keeps going because I'd like to keep talking. I will explain get your dog looking at the video. You don't need brains. It doesn't say in the Bible brains. It says every eye shall see him as he returns in the clouds. Here's your clouds. It's the internet. This is for the entire world to look at. And then you've seen that Jesus return in the clouds. And you can stop with Last Day's Doom, that Jesus is sinking below the horizon. You've got to suffer immensely. And that's going to bring on the return of Jesus. You are that stupid. Amazing stuff. You are times 8 billion. The law, atheism, and Christianity is all the same thing. It is all a game. The concept that somebody has a law. Let me give you an example. Oh, gee, Gary, it's a law you've got to pay taxes. Well, real psychology, it's a bill to pay. It's a different mind frame. And I've heard it by one person. You've given me nothing, I have nothing, there's nothing here, you haven't told me anything. Your book is 449 pages of nothing. Your business card, 98 words of nothing. What are you going to give me? Power and money. Today, right now. And that's what your game psychology is. You're alone against the world. Well, you ended up, you can't stand your own self. And yeah, you go to your job and then you come home, all you got is alcohol, drugs, and the TV remote. I wrote a song about it. I started to go onto it and explain it. Maybe I will now. I think I did a poor job of singing the song. So what? You've got to get familiar with his videos. They've got to become part of your life. And that's how commercials do. You see that same commercial 1,000 times, and it's part of your life, no matter whether it's good, whether it's bad. That Geico Gecko is lying to you redundantly. And to learn something good, you have to hear it repetitively. So it's not about how good these videos are. The first one, the sound and the picture were a mess. The second one, the sound was too quiet. The picture was okay. And then I was able a friend of mine gave me a camera, because nobody's buying a book. Something good in that. I read the Bible twice when I was a teenager. Somebody gave me a Bible to loan me to read in Connecticut while I was on vacation. I couldn't stand to read one sentence out of Luke. I was planning to read Luke. I read one sentence and I felt like, seasick, starting to come on with seasickness. And I don't know how many of you have been seasick. Try thinking of something else that makes you nauseous. So anyway, this same person read the Bible 2 times. Motive is 10/10 of reality. You're not going to do it with no motive. You're a car with no gas in it. And you don't climb up in the tree and drive to the store. You get in the car to drive to the store. You've got to get your stuff together here. And this is very sophisticated psychology. And you need to watch it over and over to get it, because these are very important concepts. I've heard that religion is not psychology. Religion is a synonym for hypnosis, psychology, religion is game psychology, no matter which one it is, and so is law. Oh, Gary, we have to have laws. Everybody'd run out their front door, slaughter their neighbor, and bring in their neighbor's stuff into their house. And everybody comes right back to you. Well, that everybody is you. And are you really going to do that? And with thinking brains, I'm not giving you try not to. That was all anybody could ever do. The man show diet didn't work. Try not to eat so much. The reason why it doesn't work, it becomes painful. And you know you're going to eat sooner or later anyway, and that you're going to eat even more when you do eat. It doesn't work. You might as well keep eating until you have an instead of. Now, you got a lot of problems in your life. The overweight in America is wild stuff. The one culture of people said, well, this be booty, and did the best they could with it, and then it got bigger. Oh, well, bigger be better. Well, 6 years later, this becoming a problem. And when the airplane's at 38,000 feet and you notice the engine's on fire, you don't talk about roasting marshmallows when you were a child and stuff like that, do you? Well, you might, because you're that stupid. You need to fix the problem. And you did not have any way to fix it. You had a government with a fat and ugly is beautiful campaign, and up is down, right is left, and whatever else they had going. And government does not like this. It is the only threat. I've mentioned this in one other video at least. This is the only threat to government, not the nuclear bomb or a protester. That's it right there. Brains that think, because it vanishes. Motive is 10/10 of reality. It vanishes motive. And then you end up, government is going away. As far as your immigration, I'll talk about America, and maybe it'll be similar around the world. But this grinder here, I think they're building a steel wall. I got a car battery and a converter. Let's see if it works. Yeah. So anyway, that little grinder that I paid $10 for, thank you China, is wonderful. 80 cents for a grinder wheel that will cut, I forgot the actual number, so I'll just give you something. 80 cents, it's about a penny an inch at what I bought that grinder wheel for. 3/16 steel. It was cold out, so the grinder would not get hot, but it cut, I'm going to put a number, 80 inches of 3/16 steel in 1 hour. So an immigrant coming in, you need a little rectangle. Might take you 20 minutes with the car battery and the converter and that to cut the hole and get into America. And I'm not sure exactly how the wall is built, but the pictures I saw on TV looked like steel. And of course, getting back out, anyone that's been in America a while, now you need to cut a round hole about this big, and that's going to take you a lot longer. You may have to, somebody may have to hide in the bushes while the battery is charging. There's a lot more chance of somebody getting caught leaving America than coming in. And you've got a real psychology, no borders. No military, no police, no borders, no insurance, no stock market in the existence that is now. Yeah, employees shouldn't have to give money to a stockholder. It should come to them because they earned it. And you've got do I hear God? Ah, well. Yeah, yesterday I was, the wind was blowing, I was cutting 2 months of growth while I'd been gone on vacation. I thought I'd have some fun, start taunting God to take me away in the tornado as the wind was picking up. It blows out here, a storm was coming in. And at that same moment I looked down and there was a $20 bill laying in this 2 feet of overgrowth. And so I picked it up and looked to see if there were any more, of course. And I thought, well, gee, when the weed eater runs out of gas this time, I'm going to go get some beer. And my mind changed right then. And I did not make a decision that was a sign from God. And I'll just keep it open, and that's what real psychology is. I want to give you something simple, something you can relate to. When I talk about me, I'm talking about all of you. This crap that, oh, it's God's will, something terrible happened, gee, it's God's will, he needed an extra angel to sing in heaven. They give you a harp. I didn't even bother. I was going to make a harp for this, and I can't believe I got this junk together in one morning. But God can't even give them a piano. He's got to give them a harp. Well, gee, God worked 6 days. He rested on the 7th. Well, that's been a long day. So the 1,000 years is but a day unto the Lord, and apparently it's been a lot more than 1,000 years. He's been sitting on his ass just causing trouble ever since that. He made the heavens and earth, and oh, Adam and Eve had a wonderful time. Then there's an apple hanging on a tree, and oh, a serpent next to it. Oh, if you eat this, you're going to burn in hell for eternity. You're all sinners. You're going to know you're naked, blah, blah, blah. I tried to fatten up some on this for you thin people in other countries that want to worship a big fat Buddha or a cow or whatever. I'm trying to familiarize with you a little bit. All around the world you've got the same redundant thing. You've got game psychology and you do not have real psychology. As I've said in the other ones, even going to the moon, trial and error. And not real thinking. You're just trial and error. You take one day at a time, progress a little further. That's memory. Oh, gee, aren't you intelligent? Well, yes, you aren't. This is intelligence, a different thing. Figuring things out. It comes to similar conclusion, compatible conclusion, and productive conclusion worldwide. You no longer need government. And that's why your government lied to you. They tied Lucifer up in his building, carpentry work. We don't know, is that a frame in carpentry? I did not see wood framing on the TV. These are cement structures that I'm seeing. Of course, it's 2021 plus years later. I've been told, gee, Lucifer was born thousands of years before Jesus, and he was a fallen angel. He was trying to take over heaven, and that defines him as being bad. No, it doesn't. He had a very good point. God told Bush Jr. to blow up Iraq. That defines a bad God. That defines God as real. So you atheists need to get some responsibility. That is real in the form of a psychological problem. And here again, comedy is giving it to you and then putting a laugh track on it. And that makes it your friend now. And it is not. So look at comedy in a different way. If there was somebody came on Saturday Night Live, whatever you got, and explain every once in a while that, you know, gee, comedy's fun, but you got a job to do also, and you're using it as an instead of. Oh, gee, the problem is now funny, which is your good friend. Funny is a friendship. And you're mixing the two, keep them separate. You've got to take the good with the bad? No. You're pretty much living an opposite world. If you did the opposite, you'd be better off. And that would still be game psychology, though. You need to figure this out and get familiar with it. That Jesus is not going to return. He was a man. According to what I've decided reading that Bible, and as I say, I read it twice when I was a teenager, and a lot of damage has been done to my brain, even during the time that I was reading it. And no, it wasn't me doing that. But you've got plenty of problems. The 9,000 years, and you're still stupid. Yes, there is no evidence that you ever made it out of real psychology. I'm going to decide Lucifer, the devil, and Satan were the same entity. It was a person. The term, get thee behind me, Satan, go what direction you want with that. But the one I'm going to go with, they knew each other. Jesus was a person, not a son of God, because you don't have a God in that capacity. And you don't have freedom of religion. Religion is not a freedom. It is a stupid lie, and you're obligated to that. You are getting sleepier and sleepier. Well, the fact is, and the way this actually works, no, you're not. You're not getting sleepier and sleepier. It's that simple. You're abandoning reality. It is as simple as that. And I was going to do a bunch more for you in this video. And I was going to have some guitar music, tell about my 2-month trip, and there's a lot for you to relate to and learn by. Yeah, one relative married 36 years. She couldn't torment him any longer. As soon as a relative was dying, she didn't want to share the inheritance, so she divorced him, and he had to buy the house twice, and 2 people came over. One took his washer, one took his dryer, And they gave him in return, one of them gave him a Home Depot bucket, another one gave him a yardstick. Apparently, you can douse your underwear in the Home Depot bucket with a yardstick and be drying the other pair of underwear on the top of the stick. And probably a lawyer told them to do that, or a TV program somewhere. But this is not the way you want to be going. Nobody does. This is, they're only going to give you women reward for so long. And by how fat the women have gotten, yeah, we went down to the beach in Connecticut. I think it was East Haven or New Haven. There was a ton of women in bikinis coming out for the first time. One of them was 990 pounds and the other one was 1,010 pounds. What is that? Oh, the biggest one hadn't pooped, and that's why they were heavier. Part of the biggest one was in Rhode Island, and nobody could decide what part that was. And you used to have the empowerment breast that white men installed to break the plane of the conference room, and now the women are so gigantic very quickly. I was amazed as I went east, they got bigger. In China, they were complaining about China making pollution, damaging the ozone layer, and they built a giant dam, and by the time they stacked the electric generators on top of it, it was displacing the earth, and the ocean level is rising a bit over there. And they didn't explain why it's rising on the eastern part of America, and apparently it's the women. And there's a lot of fat men too, but I'm seeing, have I ever seen a fat man with a thin wife? Well, maybe. But that tells me that you women are not happy with what you got. When you're obligated to make a mess out of yourself so the man cannot be fulfilled, that's to try not to basically on both your parts eventually. You women have an instead of, you're going to get fat. But then it's going to start migrating into the try not to, which doesn't work. It's very painful, and we got a $32 trillion deficit over here. Where is that going to end up at? I've run for the presidency since the early 90s. I practiced being a teacher, loud and a lot of adult language. And here I am sitting like a deer that's just been bounced off the freeway by a truck. This is not what I want to do, but it's as far as I can go. And your zero tolerance assault law, you should look into that. I won't say any more of that, but you are in this together. You are not alone. And to decide that you are one against the world and you're going to make your mark on humanity, it is not a noble goal. In other words, not fulfilling. And even one of the richest people on the earth, I recently see they're getting divorced. Well, I've heard it over and over, oh gee, I see all these happy families, as long as they've got cash flying every which direction, they're happy. And I've got to know a lot of rich families. No, they're not. And multiply that by 8 billion. And somebody suffering and they're going to give away their riches. It's harder for a rich man to get to heaven than a camel to get through an eye of a needle. Look at your preachers. Are they rich? And how did they get rich? I do not want to complain about churches. I want to make a very good point of that. You have something wonderful in your churches all around the world. It is what you're teaching that I am complaining about, and now you have the instead of. It would be a try not to say, don't teach this. You would have nothing. You've got something now. Teach real psychology in the churches, and I think the preachers are ready for it. One in Arkansas mentioned a little bit about psychology, and that made it hopeful to me. And so I told him, watch these videos, and hopefully he will. And I have all the answers. I have every last one, and I do seem to be the only one on the earth that does. And just as that one special person grew 2.5 feet tall, it's a very unusual event, even more unusual. And this has not been publicized. Lucifer has the instead of bad devil. Well, after reading that by this, I'm the only one on the earth that can do that, because I'm the only one that has this real psychology. Otherwise, I would have nothing to compare it to, and it would be basically the try not to. Is what it comes down to. Keep things simple. Bad devil, good God. And I'm reading an opposite of that. I told one family member God is bad, the devil is good, from what I've read. And she argued God is good. I said, well, how do you know? She says, I know because I know that I know. And all of you know that I just memory matched with you of something that all of you heard on the TV. And your TV is a very large problem that came about the day I was born, October 30, 1962. So you actually had your second coming a long time ago. And you might as well quit denying it, because you're stuck in the toilet swirl of last day's doom. Here again, prophecy? No. Educated guess, yeah. Yeah, a second coming, fine. Here I am, though. Don't deny me that I'm here. And your New Testament said, oh, there'll be people. Well, no, they're not. I seem to be the only one with real psychology. You only have one here. Don't deny your second coming. That prophecy of the second coming was actually an educated guess based on the fact that Lucifer existed. And as I say, you can understand that a small person is born. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, the egg did. And I seem to be the second one. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm open for more information. Real psychology takes in information. Game psychology, the mouth jacks open. No, it's over there. In argue. And look at your neighbor. If you can't believe you're doing that, look at your neighbor. As soon as they hear something that makes sense, Their eyes are going back and forth, and they're waiting for a lull in the conversation so that their mouth can gravitate open and start arguing. And real psychology does not do that. You say, well, Gary, you never heard us. I read your Bible 2 times. Now read the book that I have for you. Here's Gary York 1962 at gmail.com. Gary.York. There's got to be a dot in there. And you can pull up my Facebook and go to Facebook advertising and hopefully write a check or a money order. And the people that printed this book apparently went out of business. And if you had been buying books, they did a good job of printing. Don't get the cover wet because the color seems to be vulnerable to water. I put 2 business cards in the first books that I put out because in the middle of this book is my autobiography. Some of it's redundant, some of it is I don't know whether to say worthless, redundant, babblesome. Relate that to your own life. Redundant, babblesome. The best move forward that you've got, you know, do something. Read a book. Buy one. There's my picture on the back, and it tells you a little bit about it. The first thing, together we can help God. Now we are 100% game psychology. I'm drowning in it, and I have never wanted to be. I am fascinated that you made such a mess out of your world. If you just stop being bad, and you've got to divide the two. Eating an apple is not bad. That's a game. Policing is bad. What happens is a police officer is playing a game. And that game is that, oh, this person is good, and whoever they're attacking is bad. And no, you're playing a game at that point. It is simply not that way. And you've got to, bad and must be punished. Here I got some destroy and feed in the carnage. That's basically your government. Bad and must be punished. That is a game. That is not real punishment. Punishment and hurt. Hurting somebody and that's going to be a good thing. No. No, it isn't. You take a dump on the kitchen table, that little turd or whatever you got going, smaller than the meal, it's easier to produce, and it's going to be the star of the meal, and the family is not going to be happy about it. And you need to, that is an identical parallel to your religion situation, your laws, your atheisms. Taking a dump on the kitchen table is right in there with it. And you may be able to understand that, maybe you can't. The partner that robbed the bank, you may very well let them go. Okay, he wasn't responsible. And you've got to look at the culprit in order to fix your problems, and so far you're not. Pilate washed his hands of it, the blood of Jesus. One thing that tells me, Pilate is your government. Your government was involved. That's what it tells real psychology. Not much else, but the government was involved. And that's the first thing a culprit says, is that, oh, I'm not responsible. The victim is responsible, the victim liked it. There are several of them. Oh, the victim, the victim, the victim. The victim actually did it. You can't fix your problems that way, and that's what you ended up with here. This is very simple. God and that serpent were the same entity, just as two people robbing a bank. They're both the same entity. Without one, you wouldn't have this situation unfolding. Apparently you need two bank robbers. Apparently you need a serpent and a God to play this game that an apple is bad. And gee, everything was good. And what Adam and Eve did wrong, apparently, I'm going to go ahead and assume it, was to go with religion. Oh Lord, we are naked and ashamed, or whatever. So they put clothes on, and that was the last thing they should have done. Keep the clothes off. I'm sure Eve was not fat, so keep the clothes off and get the job done here that you really have. That you have a bad God out playing games to destroy and feed in the carnage. And you've got a long way to go. What a wonderful world ahead. And I had so much more for you today, but no, I'm going to keep going in circles with this and see when that camera poops out. I charged it fully. It's got a video chip, the microscopic chip. The packaging said 3.5 hours. And all I was, there is not much other video on there. You've got clouds, the return in the clouds. Hopefully the camera's hitting that. As I say, the viewfinder says yes, it is. And you've got quite a mess, and I have all the answers. Email me if you want. I'm not got much flow going on, and hopefully in time these videos will be seen by people. But this is your answer, and get that. You know, I did a little research, looked in the obituaries, and yep, sure enough, this person's going home to heaven to be with their dog. So, every eye needs to see him, not every brain needs to think him. Just every eye needs to see him. Don't wake that dog, it'll just eat another remote, or dive out the trailer window again and wreck another screen. Pull one eye open at a time, flicker that camera in front of him, and then go to the other eye. Don't wake him up. It's just every eye needs to see him. And run this video worldwide. And what this is a sequence, so you'll just have to have faith that it will work. And this will bring attention to the problem, and this is the solution. Your return of Jesus. I've heard it both ways. There's always things going both ways. To every mind frame, there's always an opposite mind frame. One Christian said, well, that's why God made the internet, so every eye could see him when he returns. And the more recent one that I heard was from a younger person, and I never would have thought of it. I watch and see what people do because they do very crazy things. I could have a long-running comedy. No, we got to stay serious about this. People, your dog needs to see it. Every eye needs to see it. You got people in the hospital in a coma. Flack that phone in front of them. Here you got clouds. Hopefully that's going to show up the video. Yeah, they gave Jesus salt when he needed water. because they were a bunch of pussies, and that is very much to be considered this time. Are you still going to be pussies because you've got the identical situation going on? The government let me live. I'm going to guess Lucifer and Jesus knew each other. Get thee behind me, Satan. They knew each other. And they were men, so they were in the same time period. And I'm going to say, well, they're both carpenters. And that is much closer than what you've got. But Lucifer, they burned him up in the lake of fire, burned him up in he did woodwork, carpentry work. They burned him up in his woodwork. That makes sense. And because of this, and that was the part that you never had, that's the part that I'm giving you right now, is real psychology. Lucifer had a better mind frame that bypassed government. You don't need it anymore. You all grow brains that think you're going to come to similar conclusion, compatible conclusion, and productive conclusion. And I've heard the circle over and over again from one person in particular that, generally, well, yeah, I won't go into much detail, but you're giving me nothing, you're offering me nothing. Well, watch the videos over and over, and you're going to start to see something. You separate them. Bad destroys good. That little turd on the table is the star of the meal now. And bad is much easier. Bad is a gang. Let me describe something. Bad is a gang. It's a murder, a thief, assault, kidnapping. All just describe the police force. I am planning to look up some things in Maricopa County in Phoenix, Arizona, and go little by little by little going back. And one car crash the Phoenix police were trying to do. We're not successful, but it was a try. September 11th of 2019, and that was the more recent one. So call up Mayor Kate Gallego, email or over the internet somehow, say, hey, we want to know, is Gary York II coming? And once I took those tests going into first grade, the Phoenix police, one officer, one vehicle on the next street over from me to meet me and show me that they were stalking me, and they did from then on. And so the last event, September 11, 2019, and that was not my choice of September 11. The mob boss's daughter said that she would be off work that day. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. So I was going to go see my ex-girlfriend. And of course, she did not allow me to see her, but I did set up that time to come down to Phoenix for that. And in a parking garage in the north end of the Paradise Valley Mall next to the library, I was looking for an article that was supposedly written against me by the Arizona Republic in 2016. I would love to see what they wrote. I ended up going to the main library in Phoenix. They still had nothing. Two different employees. They had an employee shift, so I let the second one play out the same thing. Oh gee, where is our microfilm or whatever they had? Where is not here. And so if anybody knows that that article, I'd like to see it. And encourage Mayor Kate Gallego. I plan to contact her, and I'm heading now. I'm heading west. I headed east for 2 months. Now I'm heading west. I have a cabin in Pine, Arizona, 6424 West Jan Drive, and sometimes I cross the two. My home in Phoenix. The Phoenix police were involved in a psychological situation to take my home from me and find out, is Gary York really the second coming? And there is a way to do it. And protesting, no. You're making a mess out of the working people's things and you're protesting? No. You're making a mess out of the working people's things. When somebody says, oh, here's the world, therefore God is real. No, it isn't. No, the world is real. The sunshine is an example of something that's real. God loves you? No. That's getting to be more on the connotation. They're controlling you. Do you have any facts about God? Where is he? The people of the Hubble telescope. Oh, Gary, well, you have to have faith. Well, no, you don't. You don't have to have faith. You have to have an intelligent brain. Faith is this. In the faith that they're putting, you've got an entire synonym situation going on here. You've got faith, you've got a holy Bible. Holy Scriptures of G. Gary York Notes for Videos started 5/20/2021. I've got some synonyms here, since these are verbal Holy Scripture. You have to go with it. Of course, it's not old. Now, you've been told it's old. I'm telling you, old is not that good. 4,000 years you've had this crap for music. Get rid of those sharps and flats and use your letters of the alphabet. You got a lot more than 12, use 12. And get that extra line in there so that you don't have them stuff floating off in oblivion. Have it near a line. And get this music cleaned up, people. Something intelligent going on. Look over your old stuff and say, no, this is pure stupid. What do we got here? Slain in the spirit. Lie. Severe and irreversible brain damage. That's a synonym for slain in the spirit. Oh, there it goes again. Somebody say, oh no, Gary, a synonym can only be one word. Well, not in reality, not real psychology. If you got something else going on, change that damn dictionary, because that thing's a mess. God, lie, government is closer to true. If it's something good, it's not government. Sin, lie, crime, true. Let's call a crime stealing the working man's tools. Let's do that as a crime. That is much more correct as true. That's a crime. Sin is a game. Oh, you sinned against God. Well, have you sinned or are you committing crime? Sin is a game. And it is not true any more than you landed on Boardwalk. You owe $2,000. You don't. And you don't play the game that way. And when you're playing your life in reality this way, you've got people trapped in cement boxes. Well, I've got something for you on that. Oh, gee, this is a child molester. They don't count. prisoners have been taught to beat them to death when they can, and just we had a couple that were on the news. Oh, gee, they hung themselves, and they were both child molesters. I don't think so, but child molesters don't count. You can do anything with a child molester, make your money off them any way you want, because they don't count. Well, what I got to say for you, you got the technology to make 3 fake people programmable people. Make 2 children, each of opposite gender, and make them not too attractive, but have the top of the head pops open. You can program it, slap it back down. You don't like what it does, you can pop the top and program it again. Have both a male and female child. Oh, child molester. Well, have one attractive woman that is an adult, and have that also programmable, and oh gee, it's not doing just right, and they can keep playing with it. You got somebody trapped in a cement box for decades. There's plenty of time to do this experiment, find out. Now, the first thing that's going to happen is that they're going to the children, because that's what they did yesterday. If they're even been accused correctly, who knows? Correctly, but okay, initially they're going to go for the children. That doesn't count, because you do today what you did yesterday. You've got to hear the instead of. You've got to realize your instead of and get comfortable with it. Now you have an attractive woman that is programmable, that is an adult woman. Go back there a year from now might be too early. Go back there 5 years from now and see what they programmed each of the 3 to do that you have in the little cement box with the child molester. See what they did, and I'm not sure what they'll do. But right now, my hypothesis is that being different people, they may do different things. Depends on several things. So do it with a bunch of them. But you might have some that focus their programming eventually on the women. And excuse me, of the adult woman. And maybe, maybe not, but let's find out, because that's what real psychology does. Let's find the facts and then go from there. You have the technology to do intelligent things. I was back there in a donut shop in Connecticut with nothing to do. Try not to doesn't work. So I called out, gee, I hear that Lincoln was the figurehead for millions of very bad people. And that wasn't what I actually said, but I can't say what I actually said. So I'll go with that. It works for the video. But the one behind me said that I was stupid. The woman in front of me said, well, this is a local donut shop. The Dunkin' Donuts is down the street. And you've got so much to do to move ahead. And as you're arguing, you are not listening. As soon as you hear something new that your TV didn't tell you, and now I need to get to this, and then I should be done with this video. Meanwhile, get your dog looking at it, and all the people on the earth, I don't care if you're atheist, so is a Christian, law, whatever crap you got, you're still game psychology. and and this is your biggest religion on the earth, I think. Oh, you've got another one, according to our government, they had trouble with people exploding to get away from the women, and so the government told them, well, you explode now, you're going on to 75 virgins, which is some very, very wicked stuff. I mean, they just self-populating one woman in America, too disgusting to have had sex one time. Oh God, multiply that by 75. You've got a lot of very terrible games being played around the world, and see it all as the same. Just dump it in one load, keep it simple, and real psychology is something different. And I'm going to tell you about your TV and your hypnosis, which has made a very large mess since the day I was born. Happy and free were the 50s, so God knew that he had to butt in. Did a study and found it was perfect. Women are dumber than men. Well, gee, God went after Eve. That's what I got out of the Bible. That's what people tell me. They went after Eve. Well, you got 4 things to do to solve your problems. You got to decide it's real. You got to decide it's not a good thing. I don't mean to be laughing along with this. Some things are just funny, but I intend to teach. You put a disclaimer on it, or whatever it's called, that no, this is still a problem. You can't help but smirk on some of this stuff, so damn obvious. But a problem and not a solution, and then you go with decide you can fix it. And the 4th is do fix it. And the 3rd one is also you've never tried to fix it. Realize that, because otherwise you would have succeeded. You've never had this. And the people were busy stuffing salt in Jesus' face because the government says you're next. We burn this guy in a lake of fire. Jesus is nailed to the cross. You're next. So they're busy stuffing salt in Jesus' face so they wouldn't be next. Well, they're a bunch of damn pussies. You're going to be alienated from the world. People are afraid they're going to lose their job. Lose it. You're not burning yet. See what tomorrow brings. I've tried to decide what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh, gee, this crown of thorns, I forgot about it by now. Luckily, I had a bunch of scrap baling wire that was all screwed up, so there's your damn crown of thorns. A hole in the hands, there's your nails. You got a sky. All I could do is a white sky. I'm not going to screw up things just to put blue sky and white clouds. No, just it's not worth it. This is all you get. You don't accept this as the second coming, and it is. You don't accept it, you're going to be going another 2021 years, and you're never going to notice the difference. Does your computer notice the difference? No, it doesn't. And you are a very low-grade computer in the image of God. Okay, we'll use TV to cause mass hypnosis. I started trying to read this in another video and the camera crapped out. Wow, that one's still going right now? This will be interesting. Hopefully it has the video chip in it. I hope I didn't take it out. We'll use TV to cause mass hypnosis, break them down with a war that won't end. I have a hard time singing this because it makes me choked up. That's exactly what happened. Drugs and songs will be their worst enemy as they're using them as their best friend. And that's what you're doing now. will teach women to find men revolting. They're doing that now. Taunt them until jealousy sets in. You women are dumber than men. If you had figured it out, good God, well, God is bad and so was Lincoln. What they're, these white guys that you're so jealous of, like God and Abraham Lincoln, whatever, gee, you hate me. The better I am, the more you hate me. And that is hypnotic suggestion. You're being tricked. Is not what you have decided to do. Write your books. Tell us what you really want to do. And we'll teach women, taunt them until jealousy sets in. When men respond to the hopeless situation, we will be there to be woman's best friend, which is sarcasm. And here's his house, here's his kids, here's his car, bitch. Bars and prisons will be all he has then. Not exactly true. Oh, you got a Home Depot bucket and a yardstick, and there's something for you to do. Here's a child support to buy your drugs and alcohol. Tell your babies that will even pitch in. Which I don't know if that's considered sarcasm. That's what's actually happened. And then I repeat, tell your babies that will even pitch in. Well, what that is the government, they don't have any money of their own. It's our money, just like insurance. Oh, well, gee, we got a $32 trillion deficit. They're giving this money away to encourage women to make a mess out of themselves, to burn down the city so the enemy can't thrive. That was real in World War II. It's a game now, and it is being played. So learning the difference between these two is your first job. You've got to learn, are you going to the bank and getting $2,000 to pay that $2,000 you owe to your friend across the table with a Monopoly game? The answer is no, you're not. And you have to learn the difference between these two because you've had them blurred together so long, you don't know any difference. You're going to have to practice it. Practice makes perfect. You're not going to be good at it. Tell your babies, William. By the way, ladies, next to fat is beautiful. He can now look for beauty within. That is sarcasm there, boys. It is finally okay to be in love now because a cougar is just a dead end. That's not even sarcasm. That's what they did. Tricks and lies wasted off all your yesterdays, and it's too late now as old age has set in. Stupid, revolting cunts hating men is your tomorrow because that's all that you practiced back then. Men better whimper down and kiss your big fat sorry bitchy ass, or Officer Pussified will taser your rear end. Then they'll put you back in prison again. You've got to realize your government was not up to good things. They're playing a game. Government is not good. It is a game that government is good. Government is bigger, and you're busy stuffing salt in Jesus' mouth. Well, what are you going to do this time? They let me live to 58 years old because they wanted to learn. And they pretty much had the technology to shut me down, and it worked. You're busy watching the Canadian floozy dancing around chanting to glorify abortion. Here's the answer to abortion right here. And instead, it's an instead of. You're watching that video. Gee, that's how bad my hands shake. The what not to do. Yeah, women don't tell a man what to do. They nag the man what not to do. which is the try not to. So your government knew just what to tell the women to offend the men. Men back in prison. We know why they call it a couch now. Just combine cow and ouch. There you go. TV remote, drugs and alcohol. Always tired. Damn that job tomorrow. Think about that because it's still going on today. Damn that job tomorrow. You need to realize, but you can't. You're a computer. You cannot realize. Stupid is is not fixable. You can't do it because you have to have your wits about you to grow wits. And just as somebody 2.5 feet tall, you can't think your way to being 2.5 feet tall. And likewise, you can't grow a brain that thinks. And that's the situation we're in now. So you take that fact. You cannot fix stupid fool. You can't do it. Now put that aside and also fix stupid fool. You separate them. And then see what tomorrow brings you. And as I say, ladies, men, you can do this. At the end of the day, you're working 7 days a week because that's all your government allows you. It's called work privilege. Your government is completely in control of that TV set. And this is a hopeless situation. But you had it 2021 years ago and you blew it. You were busy stuffing salt in Jesus' mouth, and instead of saying we need to do something about this. Bad is much easier. Bad is the inherent winner because it's the gang, and good is not an aggressor. So you've got a real problem. What can we do about it? And maybe maybe good can take on something, some sort of unity of intelligence. Let's get a society of real psychology, people learning real psychology. Here again, your churches are perfect for that all around the world to evolve to teaching real psychology, because it's going to be the same thing every time. You're not going to have something different on the other side of the earth, because real psychology is real. Like that sunshine, God loves you is a rule to a game. All have sinned is a rule to a game. And when you understand that concept, you'll be much, much better off. But write your books. And I had a lot more for you. I think I'll end this at this. Get every eye seeing this. This is a lot more information for you. I'll do something more next time. I want to build an extra part for that guitar and show it to you. And talk more about music. This video, you get every eye on earth seeing that, and you're going to realize that it makes awareness to the problem of game psychology, and it also offers a solution. So it's not a try not to, it's an instead of. You can do this thing. This is all you're going to get. You got nothing for 2021 years. This is what you're going to get, because I am the second coming. And realize it, that this is what the second coming was, real psychology. That's what the first coming actually was. This, where did it go, where did it go? Ah, little tiny thing. There's your instead of. Read your Old Testament and look at it the way I'm looking at it. You've never done that before? Well, if your religion's so high and mighty, try looking at it opposite mind frame. To every mind frame, there's always an opposite mind frame. You're afraid that your years invested will vanish? Well, you're not burning yet. Try it out and then see what tomorrow does. Look back on history and see what you did. But write your books is something you can do. Oh gee, you're drunk and high on drugs and you've got that TV remote going on and you're working 7 days a week to run from your problems, and all they're going to do is give you more bills to pay. The inflation is gone nuts here. 2 years ago, somebody said, oh no, we haven't been able to get 4x4s in 2 months. I immediately bounced back. You're doing a fake shortage so that, and you're intending to jack up the prices, and that was exactly what they did. And I've seen it over and over again, and that's game psychology, supply and demand. And you don't have to burn down the world to get something in real psychology. Should you really be charging a higher price? Then do that. And it's a different concept. So supply and demand, no, that's your old style game psychology. It leaves out all intelligent thinking, and it's merely supply and demand. What, good always wins in the end? No. You got so many sayings. Bad always wins in the end because it's much easier and is much more dominant. Inherently, bad wins in the end. You've got a very difficult situation. But write your books. You can be drunk, near passed out on the couch and write what you really want to do. Do you really want to be exhausted? Put a mirror on the ceiling. Look at that. Is that who you really want to be? And write your books. Here's who you are. Who do you want to be? And how do you want to feel? Because that's what the drugs and alcohol are for, is feeling better. That's your only reward, and there you go. You're drunk and high on drugs, and a lot of people are not. You're stuffing the burgers and potato chips down as fast as you can. So you're going to have one thing or the other, or else it becomes a try not to, which doesn't work. You're doing something, and something destructive, and now you have a move forward. Write your books. What do you want? Talk to other people about it. Talk to yourself about it. So what? I've done a lot of talking when nobody's around because nobody's listening when I'm trying to do something on a camera. That needs to change. And try buying a book. I know you don't want to read it. I know how that is. I couldn't read that one sentence in the book of Luke, and I'm the same person that could read the Bible twice at a different point in my life. So that gives much hope that you can be excited about reading that book someday. And put yourself in my position, or put your whatever, me in your position. Anyway, you got a wonderful world ahead. Like I say, the animals need to, the dogs anyway for now. I don't see any cats in the obituary. But whatever it takes, this is what you got to do, though, to call a problem where it is, and be moving forward in a solution, because you're going to go another 2021 years of last day's doom and never notice that you did it. A computer can't remember yesterday, and neither can you. And oh, I hear somebody lying. Oh, your computer remembers. Well, is it accountable for yesterday? Can it figure it out? Can it use the information to help itself? Jeez. You got a big problem. And realize that you are a low-grade computer. Put it where it's at. Say the truth. The truth shall set you free. What do I got? Culprit, victims, faults, and wanted. Yeah, I've pretty much gone through all of it. And this is the number 16 video. I think this would be the 14th video that'll end up being out. Real Psychology Heaven, Game Psychology Old, and start deciding old is not that good. Please. Old is a bunch of crap. You'd be better off looking at something old is bad. Old is hell. That's what you've got now. This is the earth, your hell, you're living in now. What you can have, you can try out heaven, but you're going to have a long way to go to get there. And it's a lot of fun. You can do it in your spare time while you're drunk and high on drugs, while you're with other people. It's something to interact with, and write up this book. What do you want to feel? What do you want to do? And you can go well out of the bounds of what you really are. And that is not game psychology at that point. It's what you really want to do. You're not playing a game at that point. And that's why it is so hard to separate these two. Because you people need to take your time at it and keep checking these two and decide, can they be separated? Or is it just one big gray blob? And you've got a wonderful world ahead. As I say, writing your book is one big step forward. Buy one of these and try it out, and do something, move forward. And you got a wonderful world ahead, and apparently not behind you, because you had a mess in that TV set. This here, that TV set, they were able to make a mess out of you. And it is called, the technical term is hypnosis. You've got a wonderful world ahead. Start being aware of the world you're living in. You're heading for a fatter and fatter world. I was amazed. The ocean level in California is not going up quite so quick as over on the east side of America. So maybe they're not quite so fat over there yet, but it's coming in a big way. And amazing stuff. That is an unhappy group of people. Fat and happy, well, you're fat while you're eating. Happy and drunk, well, there are problems with that type of thing. And real psychology, there shouldn't be any problems with it. It should be a straight move, straight forward. Whereas you're in a toilets world right now that you've got to sacrifice to have something good. Oh, you've got to destroy your body to make something, make yourself feel happy. And so anyway, here's all you're going to get. Here's a second coming and return in the clouds. And you also have, I am also the real coming. Real second coming. And don't do the salt routine this time. Try using some brains that think and quit being a bunch of damn pussies and get your government looked at for what it is. Your police force is game psychology. They are not really the good guy. They do everything that's bad. Enjoy. What do we got? God, bad. Yep. And hypnosis, bad. So remember that. And let's get this little piece of crap cleaned up here. And this is not freedom of religion, it is hypnosis. Freedom of religion is a synonym, it's an instead of, a connotation, it's all three in one. And so learn how to be intelligent, it's brand new.